Hey guys, welcome back to the Six Side Culture podcast. Today I'm joined with Danny. Enzo unfortunately couldn't make it today, but we have a lot of games to talk about. Obviously the Europa League and Serie A, I believe match day 23, and obviously recapping the games for the upcoming weeks and what's to come for Italian teams in Europe. So getting into it, Danny, I'm gonna let you start off. We have just brief recap over the Europa League. Obviously, we had Milan with I wouldn't say disappointing result. Obviously, 2 goals away against Red Star is obviously good, but just a little disappointing, I guess, for a Milan fan, conceding at the last minute to tie the game up. Napoli-Granada, obviously, Danny, I'm gonna let you go more in depth on that one. It was just a shame after that big win against Juve, how they couldn't get the job done against Granada, who is a tough team that people do underestimate, and then Roma getting a very comfortable win against Braga. So Danny, what do you think happened in the Napoli game?
Yeah, it's just the Napoli game. It was just a bit of both poor performance by Napoli, especially in the first half. We switched off for 2 minutes, and Granada capitalized with 2 quick goals to give them 2-0 win. And it's just the way the game was going in the second half. Napoli looked a little bit better, and it looked like a type of game that if maybe we didn't switch off for 2 minutes, we could have got even 0-0 draw. But Napoli's attack was not a big factor at all during this match. They had the first shot on target. I think it was in the 86th minute. And you're not going to win a game when you only have one shot on target and it's a simple one. And they have a few chances too with Romani's header that I think he should have scored. Even if he were left it, I think Osimhen was there to put it in as well. It's just a tough result for Napoli, especially the way coming off a big win against Juventus. You would think Napoli could carry that over, but their season is based off inconsistency, and this match was shown they're inconsistent to build off momentum. So it's going to be a big game this week, especially at the home. Napoli need to score 2 goals to force extra time. They can't concede, which with this defense, I don't know. I think Napoli are going to be conceding early against Granada, but hopefully they show up. We're going to get some big bodies back. Koulibaly's back, so that's huge. Mertens is back in training, so that's even bigger. And Diego Demme, who, in my opinion, has probably been maybe our best midfielder this year. Him and Zielinski, you can argue, have been our best midfielders this year. And he's back into training, so that's going to be a huge boost for us. And I just want, especially now without Osimhen, maybe Mertens might get the start up top. We don't know, but it's going to be interesting to see what Napoli do this game. Hopefully they can come out with a 2-0 win. But if they don't, then we're going to be out of Europa League, and we could just focus on the league, which in my opinion is not the worst for Napoli, especially the way we've been playing. Especially we had to play the midweek games. Napoli are not good at all when it comes to midweek games. And hopefully we could just play hard, play like we want to win this game. But if we don't end up getting the 2-0 result, then we just have to focus on the league now.
Yeah, obviously, and then going into the Napoli's league game, it's 2 bad results for Napoli, obviously against 2 good teams. Atalanta 4-2. Were you, after the Europa League match, were you confident that Napoli was gonna at least wake up and get a result against Atalanta, or were you just kind of saying like, oh shit, Atalanta again, here's another loss? What was kind of going through your mind?
Heading into the Atalanta match, I wasn't confident at all, especially the way Napoli have been playing as of late and just our season and what all the bullshit that's going on with our club. I just thought Napoli were going to play hard. They did. They tied it up at 1-1, but they didn't look good at all for the first 60 minutes or something. Like, in the first half, they were terrible, but both sides, to be fair, were just terrible that half. But in the second half, Napoli looked to step it up a bit. Just defensively, we kept making mistakes. And once again, Napoli gave up 2 goals in quick minutes. I think it was like something like 6 minutes or 7 minutes apart, which you can't do, especially the likes of Atalanta, who are known for their attacking ability. They're very good attacking side. And I just think Napoli need to step up. I know we're getting a lot of players back, so which is a big boost. But they just need something to change. I don't know. It just Gattuso needs to realize, okay, this is my job I'm playing for. We can't play possessive. We can't play defensively. Just go back to the way we played against, say, Atalanta the first time, the way we played against Fiorentina, the games that we destroyed teams 6-0, 4-0. Because Napoli now, the way that they've been playing, they allow teams to come back on defense, to build their shape, to press high. And just the way Napoli play, they play boring soccer, which, yes, if they win, okay, whatever, all is forgotten. But most of the time now that they're not even playing good soccer and they're not getting results. So it's a mix of, okay, something's got to change. And the way Napoli play, they can't, it's just weird to see. I don't think any other team except for us, we can have a 3-on-2 counterattack and still find a way to give it back to Meret. Napoli need to stop giving it back to the defense, giving it back to the goalies when we have good spell of possession in the attacking zone. Just figure it out. Just change, not change, trying to and the off-ball movement too. It's one of the worst I've ever seen this team. This seems like every time a player has the ball, nobody gets open, and it's only certain players that get open try to create space for others. But most of the time, the ball ends up back at Meret. Or Spina, whoever's in net. But Napoli needs to change the way that they've been playing. So hopefully with the additions of Mertens, Koulibaly back, and Demi back, hopefully we can see a better Napoli side when it comes to their tactics and the way that they play. That's all they need to do. They just need to change their way. They need to start finding ways to win, get back on the winning track, and who knows what can happen at the end of the season, because it's not over yet, the season, but if Napoli don't find something soon, it could be over sooner than expected. But going back to Atalanta, I give Atalanta every credit they deserve. They're such a good side to watch when it comes to attacking football. The only problem that they have is defensively, but as of late, they looked a little bit better defensively. Romero's been playing at a very good level. He's becoming a good center back in the league. Personally, I never liked the player, but watching him play, you can tell he's going to be a good player. He just has to clean up his physical. It seems like he goes in too hard sometimes, and he's reckless when it comes to tackling players.
Kind of like a Di Matteo,
Yeah, but if he can learn to tone it down a little bit, he's going to be a good center back for the years to come. And I just think Atalanta, they're going to give Madrid problems. We all know that. So I think they could even surprise Madrid.
I think they'll win it today.
Yeah, we'll find out today as a recording. The game's going to start in about maybe an hour and 20 minutes or so.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a good game. I'm excited to see what goes on, and just hope Napoli, going back to Napoli, can get a result against Granada, and maybe even if we don't go through, a win still, it's going to be a positive result against Granada can set the tone for Napoli for their up-and-coming fixtures.
Yeah, for sure. And I think Napoli just have a lot of injuries to deal with, and their momentum just isn't the highest. Obviously, after that Juve game, a lot of people thought that Napoli would kind of just get back onto the high horse and start finding their form again. And after Granada lost, they kind of just start digging into that slump again. So it's going to be interesting to see if they could not only come back against Granada, which is going to be difficult and tough, but against Benevento too, upcoming Serie A game. Napoli is home, but we saw what they did with Roma, who they really put in a shift against Roma. They made it very tough for Roma to score, and it's going to be, if Napoli can't find their offense, it's going to be tough for Napoli to score. Who knows, especially with their defense. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. But moving on to the Serie A results, there was a couple of upsets in my eyes this week. Fiorentina-Spezia 3-0. Obviously, Spezia comes from beating Milan to kind of losing to Spezia. It was interesting to see. But it was a good performance by Vlahovic and the whole Fiorentina team. Obviously, Fiorentina and Spezia they're neck and neck on points. So that was big for Fiorentina to overtake Spezia in the table. Torino Cagliari, it was an interesting game, very back and forth until Breme scored late on to win the game for Torino, and Cagliari finally sacked Di Francesco. I'm pretty sure Semplici's the new coach, right?
Yeah.
So it's good to see Di Francesco's finally gone. For Cagliari, it was probably the guy went on a 10-game losing streak and got a contract extension. I'll never understand it, but now he's gone. Semplici's in. Let's see if Cagliari could turn the season around and start stringing some results together. Lazio
stay up. I think right now they're in the relegation.
Yeah, that's why I say they need some results together, especially if they want to play Serie A next season. But Lazio-Sampdoria, 1-0 result, and that was interesting. I actually thought Sampdoria was gonna get the win here, but you saw Lazio just were out of it, and we'll talk about their Champions League game while we're on topic with Lazio, but Bayern Munich, obviously never an easy team, one of Europeans' giants team, even for Juventus, Inter Milan, the big Serie A teams, it wouldn't be an easy game to play. So for a team like Lazio, I would have been more confident if a team like Atalanta faced them. But a team like Lazio facing them, obviously, not the best, but I genuinely thought if they were at home at the Olimpico, I genuinely thought that Lazio could, prove an upset in a way. I thought it wasn't going to be as bad as it was, maybe like a 2-1 or a 2-2 or something in that nature. But obviously there was some controversial calls. There was a Lazio penalty that was not called, which was ruled off. But there was controversy that there was contact before it was ruled off. So that was very controversial and it kind of changed the whole momentum of the game and the Lazio players. So you saw after that call. I actually thought Lazio were playing. Obviously, they had conceded before then, but I thought Lazio were still playing pretty decent for the team they were facing up against. And then after that call was like not given, you just saw them like put their heads down, and then Bayern just had a feast. They did get a goal, which if this was an away match, if this was in Germany, I would say it would be almost a perfect result for them. They got an away goal and they moved home to beat them, but obviously it is home. Bayern did get those 4 away goals. It does look like it's the end of the road for Lazio in the Champions League after such a long spell away from it. But, you can't count them out just yet. If I were to bet, I would say Bayern's winning this, with no issues, but you never know with Lazio. They could, pull something out of their ass and, win the result. Obviously, we've seen it with Barcelona many times, how much they've choked in Champions League when they were up by 4, 5, 6 goals, and teams have just come back. So it's interesting to see what Lazio are going to do in the
PSG choked our 4 goalie heading into Barca.
Against Barca. Yeah. So nothing's impossible in football. That's what's amazing about the sport. So I don't want to count Lazio out just yet. They have a fighting chance, and I think the team will wake up. I'm not going to say they're going to win, but if they do win, I'm not going to be surprised. So then, what did you think of the result as a whole?
I just thought it was just a one-sided game. Bayern showed why they're the champions of Europe, why they're, in my opinion, the best team in Europe. And they just took it to Lazio. Lazio defensively looked out of shape, and if Peperina didn't make a couple of good saves here and there, it could have been a different game. Could have been maybe 5-1, 6-1. Lewandowski he was all over the place. The guy's a beast. I don't know how you can stop him. I don't think anyone can stop him when he's in form. They just got a good quality side, Bayern. Obviously better than Lazio. But again, Lazio too, they didn't impress me too much. I expected them to at least look a little better, especially with Immobile and Luis Alberto and Milinkovic-Savic, but those guys didn't do too much. Maybe Alberto was the Lazio's best player, and it's sad to see for Lazio because I know it's been maybe the first time in like 13 years they were in the Champions League, and so teams never want to go out at the round of 16, even group stage or round 16. Those are the worst spots to go out to.
It was also like an unfavorable draw for them. Obviously, they finally get to the round 16, get Bayern Munich. It was just unfortunate for them.
Yeah, unfortunate, but you gotta give credit where the credit's due with Bayern. They're just a well-coached team, well-played side.
Yeah.
It's gonna be tough for Lazio to get 3 goals at the Bayern. They need 4 actually to advance. It's gonna be very, very tough for them, but it's soccer at the end of the day. It's Champions League soccer, I should say, and crazy stuff has happened in the past, and who knows if we can get or if a crazy result can happen here. But I also see Bayern going through. But hopefully now, because Italian teams in Champions League is Juventus and Atalanta. Who knows with Atalanta if they can pull an upside here as well.
Yeah, I generally think, while we're on the topic of Atalanta, I generally think Atalanta is going to win, today. Obviously, we don't know you guys will know the results, when you're listening to this, but I actually think, with Madrid's injuries, the form Atalanta's on, I'm almost certain the game's in Bergamo. I think everything's in Atalanta's favor. The only thing that worries me about them is, the defense. Obviously, you don't want to concede that away goal. So it's going to be interesting to see how Atalanta defend Madrid. But I generally do think Atalanta are going to beat Madrid today. Win or lose, they'll definitely put up a fight. I just think, I think Atalanta are hungrier than ever. Obviously, that shock loss to PSG last season, that unfortunate, unlucky loss to PSG last season in the Champions League. I think they've learned from that. They've learned from what they need to do, and now they face another European giant in Madrid, who I personally think has a weaker side than PSG. So I think they'll definitely put up a fight, and I think they could get the win. Obviously, it is going to be hard without Papu. That's a little concerning, but I think they'll get the job done and make City out proud, beating Real Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
Well, talking about City A, actually, 23, the game of the week for me. I don't know about you, Dan, but it was Genoa-Verona. That was two teams that are very close on the table. Obviously, I call it the Studado game. Studado was on Genoa, now he's on Verona. Didn't play, unfortunately, came on in the 90th minute. Disrespecting him, Verona, I see. But very back and forth game, very entertaining game, and Genoa got that late winner with I can't say his name if I even tried. He scored late on to get the tie for Genoa. So that was such an entertaining game. As a neutral fan, I think that was the game of the week. Obviously there's a bigger game that we're going to talk in a couple of games. Sassuolo-Bologna 1-1. Obviously when you watch, I was expecting Sassuolo to win, especially after that early red card on Bologna's half. But they just couldn't find the back of the net. Caputo did and to tie it up, but that was about it. That was about it.
2 games, 2 goals for Caputo.
Yeah, he's really trying to find his form. If he wants to get called up to the Euros, he's gonna need keep scoring like this. But it's good to see that they're starting to find their form now.
Forza Ciccio.
Yeah, I would love to see a nice healthy competition for the Euros who play striker, because obviously we don't have that one star. It's he's definitely playing there. So it's going to be interesting to see how players closer to the Euros are going to say, oh shit, the Euros, I want to get called up. I want to start for the national team. Let me start going on form and starting to bag in some goals. And it's just good to see everyone's starting to bag in some goals now with Belotti, Caputo, I would say Immobile, but we all know how he plays in the blue shirt. But
Moise Kean. Great.
Moise Kean's on form. I think I would say he's the favorite to. I wouldn't say he's the favorite to start just because of his age, but based on form, he's definitely one of the favorites. The next game, Parma-Udinese. Again, another 2-2 result. Parma scored early on. Udinese had to claw back from being 2-0 down. So it's good to see the team they're building and how resilient they are, especially away at Parma. It's never an easy game. We talked about Atalanta, Napoli, Benevento, Roma. That was a tough game for Enzo. I know we wanted to talk about it, but fortunately couldn't make it on for today. He had a lot of bad things to say about Benevento. Dan, I don't know if you watched this game, but this was a tough game for Roma. Obviously, a 10-man Benevento attend Benevento for 30 minutes. The entire game, I would say, was in Roma's favor. They were dominant in the game. They outpossessed them. They outshot them. It was just Benevento was literally not allowing
defending
them
for their
to
lives.
score.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were literally defending they were defending like they were 1-0 up in the 90th minute with like 5 minutes of extra time added. That's how they were defending for the entire game. Obviously, and Roma were away, so it's obviously a very tricky game, and they just couldn't find the back of the net. Obviously, I was talking to Angelo about this, but we saw El Shaarawy in the Europa League come on. So I would almost assume, okay, El Shaarawy should be starting, and if he's not starting, he should come on like mid-game to kind of like get his fitness up and make an impact for Roma. But I was talking to Enzo, and I said, I thought El Shaarawy came on way too late in the game. I thought he should have definitely came on earlier in the game to make an impact, especially since Roma were literally all over Benevento, just couldn't find the back of the net. You bring in an attacker, kind of see if he has what it takes to kind of get that result. Obviously, Dzeko coming on from the hero of Roma, scoring against Braga, and then just wasn't playing up to Roma's standards in Serie A. I think at the end of the season, it's time to cut ties with him. But yeah, what do you think about this game, Dan?
Yeah, no, I need to give Benevento a little bit some credit too.
Yeah.
They took advantage of Roma playing, in my opinion, past game. They were just missing. I was even talking with Benevento too. They were just missing that final pass.
Yeah.
Pellegrini had a strong game, in my opinion. I think he was easily, maybe him and Vertut were the two guys I was very impressed with when they were watching this match. But I'm going to give Benevento credit. Even Barbara, too, the center back, has a very strong game for them.
Very impressive.
And at the end of the game, there was a controversial call with El Shaarawy with the penalty, which they initially gave the penalty, but then they went to check and it was offside.
Yeah.
But in my I'm not gonna say my opinion, what I think, because at the end of the day, they called it offside, so everything was wiped out. But looking at it, I think it was a penalty.
I agree.
I thought it was a penalty to begin with, but when they called it offside, I go, okay, I'm not gonna say nothing because the initial call was offside. But Benevento, they played a very strong game. They're a very they're a pesky side that they can cause you problems. So that's why this match against Napoli,
it's gonna be
Napoli
tough.
they have to be on the right foot. No, Napoli, they have to put the foot on the pedal and just get through Benevento, even with a 2-0 result, because this side can hurt you, and they got some decent players too that can cause problems for the likes of Napoli, especially with their defense. For me, I think this is a big 2 points dropped from Roma, because they're contending for top 4. Now, instead of being, say, 2 points up on Atalanta, they're only a point up Atalanta. So, it's going to be interesting now. This just helped even teams like, say, Lazio and Napoli, who are 6 and 7, who are only 4 points behind Roma now. That was a big result.
Closer.
Yeah, it makes it way closer. And I think Roma, I think this week they're gonna bounce back. They're side that, okay, they tied to Benevento. This week they're probably gonna win, maybe 2-0 or so. So I think Roma they're a good side. They got some good players. They just have to focus now, especially now, against Europa League, against Braga. Make sure they stay focused and they don't let up against Braga, because Braga is also a side that they got some good players too that can cause problems. So as a Roma fan, I wouldn't worry too much about the result against Benevento. Just focus about these matches coming up, because these are 2 big matches, and that could dictate the season.
Yeah, they definitely need to be focused against Braga. Obviously, a lot of Roma fans are kind of saying, "Oh, the game's over." And I understand that, because they do get 2 away goals. They're winning 2-0 against Braga.
Yeah, focus too, because this weekend they have
sure.
Milan. They have Milan this weekend too.
So
there's 2 big matches coming up. Yeah.
It's a big game for the city at top 4, not just Roma-Milan, but everyone around there. That's how close the table is. You kind of have to say, like, oh, like me as a Juve fan, I need that to be like ending a draw or like a Roma win, ideally. So I mean, it's just big results after big results needed. But the game of the week for a lot of fans, I personally thought the Genoa-Verona one was a bit more entertaining. was Inter Milan. Obviously, they play in the same stadium, but Milan was technically home this game. I don't know where to start here. Milan were dreadful. They
didn't look good at all.
they didn't look like the Milan that we've seen this entire season. I definitely think the mindset is starting to shift. I mean, I said this on the Culture Cheers podcast, but when you're a player you look up to of Zlatan, he's kind of like the leader. I see him as the leader of the team, even though players like Donnarumma and Mandzukic are there. But when your star player is Zlatan, who's been leading this team from last winter, fighting for this Scudetto, claiming that if he started the season at Milan, he'd win the Scudetto. When he's going to Sanremo, a music competition, in the middle of the Scudetto race, I mean, it just goes to show you the mindset he has for this season and the mindset the players are taking after that. Now, I think the mindset's completely gone after that incident. And they go into this game and Inter they were hungrier than Milan. Conte needed this win. Both teams needed this win. But Conte's men deserved them more. They played more resiliently. Obviously started off Lukaku with that amazing assist to Lautaro in like the first 5 minutes. And when I saw that, I'm like, oh fuck, this isn't going to be good coming out. I was cheering on Milan because I genuinely wanted a tie here. I thought it was the best result for obviously Juventus, but Inter were just dominant on all forces. Milan looked like Crotone, if I'm being honest. It was like Inter Crotone I was watching. They didn't look like, if you saw Inter Milan and say, oh yeah, Inter won 3-0. A lot of fans, including Inter fans, would be shocked at the result. And they just played better. Obviously, Lautaro, we've grilled him in the past for not scoring in big games, but he did get a brace against Milan. Obviously, one was all Lukaku did the work, but you got to give credit to Lautaro for putting the ball in the net against Milan, a very big team, and Lukaku. The guy's just incredible. If he doesn't win some sort of award for being this good, I don't know when he's gonna win it, but he's the best player in Serie A. If you ask me, he's just incredible. He brings Inter on his back every game, and you could see how important these wins are for Inter. They were celebrating them. Obviously now top of the table. So it's obviously a close race, but Milan this is a huge loss for Milan, if they want to win the Scudetto. But Dan, what do you think about this game?
Yeah, I was very shocked with the result. I thought Inter were going to win regardless. I just feel like they're just a better side. They've been playing very good as of late. But 3-0, I didn't expect that. And like you were saying, Milan, they didn't look good at all. Inter, they took it to them. I think now after this, I said last week, I feel like the winner of this match could be the winner of the Scudetto. Yeah. So as of right now, I think Inter, out of all the sides in Italy, are probably the best side. Lukaku's, again, a beast. And it was nice to see Martinez step up in a big game. Got 2 big goals. And just this whole Inter side looked very good. Conte had them ready from the beginning of the match to the end. And it's a huge boost too for Inter, just because of what this result could mean for the Scudetto race. They got some big matches coming up too, and they just gotta keep their foot on the pedal. They gotta keep going. Can't drop any points, especially against big sides, because those points, especially against smaller sides, I should say, because those are the points that are going to dictate if you're going to win or if you're going to lose the Scudetto at the end of the season. And Milan too, they're going to have to find a way to bounce back tomorrow against the Red Star, because it's right there. That result's going to be tough too, because they're tied 2-2.
They do have 2 away goals, but they do need.
But yeah, if Red Star find a way to score, Milan are forced to score too. So, it's going to be a big result. This is going to be a big match too for them for tomorrow against Red Star, and also against Roma. That's going to be two sides that need to bounce back, need to get back on the right direction. More for Milan since they're chasing the Scudetto, and also for Roma too, just so they can solidify top 4 and just continue the way they've been playing. Hopefully. I think Roma could win this match as well. let's see if Milan can bounce back, because if Milan starts slumping against if they start off slow against Roma, I think Roma can capitalize and take that match. We'll see. I'm very excited to see that match, and I think it's going to probably be the game of the week.
Yeah, that's obviously going to be a big match. Milan, obviously Roma don't have the best credentials when facing the top four in
Top
Serie A.
teams.
Yeah, so it's going to
Even
be
a tie
interesting to see if
for
they
Roma
bounce back.
too. Even a tie for Roma against Milan, it's still a good result. It's a positive result.
Yeah, obviously, and you see Milan, obviously that lost to Inter. They tied to Red Star Belgrade, which a lot of Milan fans would still consider a win because they did get those 2 away goals in Serbia, which isn't easy to do. But
No, it's a very tough place to play.
yeah, extremely tough. Imagine if there were fans, there would be even that'd be a disaster. But but Milan obviously aren't in the best of form. I think their mindset just completely shot after that whole Ibra situation. Roma looked to be in form. Obviously, that Benevento game was a little setback, but they're still playing extremely well. They're playing good.
Plus
Maybe
they get a boost with Zaniolo coming back to training.
Yeah,
huge boost.
Yeah. Excited to see him finally step back onto the pitch whenever he's fit and cleared to do so. But I think this is the game we're finally going to see a lot more of El Shaarawy, especially against his former team of Milan. I think it'll be interesting to see if Fonseca plays him from the start or if he comes on a little earlier. I think he should. It just if he's fit to play, if he's cleared fit to play. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's going to be a very tough game. I would say it's a very entertaining game. Obviously, it could be a very boring game, but I would argue it's going to be a very entertaining game. But it's gonna be everyone from top 4 in City are going to be praying at this game ends in a draw. Just the best for everyone else except for Roma and Milan, obviously. But moving on, obviously, Juventus had 2 poor results with Napoli and Porto. Had to come back against Crotone, which we did draw the first time we played them. And obviously with a lot of injuries coming our way, Szczesny on the bench, I was applauding Pirlo for that because I think he needs to be punished for his actions against Porto. Buffon played and he kept a clean sheet, not a surprise. Di Maria and della looked good together. I personally think it's a better partnership than della and Chiellini. I think they're 2 similar players to play together. That's just my thing. I think the only way Chiellini and della are on the same pitch at the same time is with a 3-back formation with Bonucci in there. But they played good. I would say the team played mediocre. I definitely think the result isn't what people think. We weren't all over Crotone. Crotone definitely had their chances. But Ronaldo did get a brace, which is good, and that McKennie goal to kind of seal the deal was nice. It's interesting with Ramsey. Ramsey always has a poor game and always manages to get some sort of stat, whether it's a goal or assist. So, I mean, if he keeps getting that and keeps having a poor game, he can have a poor game all he wants. Bentancur was poor, but I can't blame Pirlo because there's no one else to play. But the talking point of Juve Crotone was Fagioli. The guy comes on and he plays phenomenal for the 20-30 minutes he was on. And I think that spoke about the future of Juventus and the players we have. Everyone keeps saying we need a midfield. And every time we see a young player like Fagioli, who has a good game, we've seen it with Trabotin and such earlier on, but we say, oh, he should start, and then he never starts, and then people kind of forget about him. But I definitely think if you're Pirlo, with the injuries you have, I think you definitely need to start against Verona. It's a game where it's going to be a very tough game against Verona's side, and I think if Fagioli could start, I definitely think he's better than Bentancur. So if you start him over Bentancur, and kind of just give him a little, like, the ropes and starting a full 90 minutes and seeing how he plays, because obviously he played good, but he only played like 20-25 minutes. So kind of just see on the spectrum, it's like, okay, if you play good against 90 minutes against Verona, you could start against Porto. You could start playing minutes against the bigger teams. So you're not going to want to risk him in Champions League and he has a poor performance and we're suddenly knocked out. So I mean, I think if you're Pirlo, you definitely have to take the risk against Verona. kind of see how he plays. Maybe not even 90 minutes. Maybe bring him on at half or the 50th minute mark just to see if he could hold his own against for a longer strands of time. But I definitely think this kid's a future. The Juventus midfield. Obviously, you have players like Marchisio, Barzali, even Pirlo praising the guy. So it's always good to see. And it's a guy who's always been a Juventino from the youth. So hopefully he starts against Verona, but that's definitely going to be a tricky game for us. But Dan, do you have any talking points about this game or?
You covered it perfectly. Like Juve, they looked good this match. They got the 3-0 win. And I agree with you with Fagioli. I think he looked impressive against Crotone. I wouldn't start him just yet. I would still try to ease him into games, say bring him in like the 75th minute, the 65th minute, just to ease him in. Because at the end of the day, Juve is still pushing for top four and even pushing for the Scudetto as well. So there's no point, not point, but there's no need to start youth players until like say the end of the season when it's say you guys are solidified in your position and nothing can change. But I think Fagioli, we'll see more of him in the upcoming weeks, and upcoming matches as well. He's a good player that's calm on the ball, does his job. He's nothing like a special, like, oh, this guy is amazing. He's a very solid player, does his job. He's only gonna get better as he's a young. I think he's 20, right? If I believe, 19,
Yeah,
20.
he's around there. Yeah.
And he looked good. And it helps too that he's got Pirlo, who easily is one of the most gifted players I've ever seen in my life. Who is one of Italy's most prized possession when it came to midfield play. So it's good. It helps that he has Pirlo teaching him the ways and stuff. And it's just a good result for Juve at the end of the day. Crotone, they're not the strongest side in Serie A, but they're a side that you also can't take them lightly, which Juve didn't. And they got some players that can impress you, especially Unas, who I was always impressed with even at Napoli. He's a very great player when it comes to dribbling and stuff, but when it comes to finishing and lack of production, that's his weak points. But give Juve credit. They won I call it the Derby di Calabria. It's just a little joke we have on Twitter. Just saying like all Juve fans are Calabrese, but it's just a joke. Doesn't mean nothing. So it's a good result for Juventus, especially now because they're pushing for top three, even Scudetto. And if Milan starts to slump, don't count on Juve just yet when it comes to the title race.
Well, we're actually right behind Inter. Obviously, I think it's come out now that Lotito is going to trial sometime in March. I think it's like March 13th, around there. About the Lazio COVID results, and if Lazio are found guilty, Juventus do get awarded 2 points. And then Torino would get awarded 3 points. So like looking at the table for that would put Juventus on 47 points with a game in hand. And obviously you're not going to say, oh yeah, we get a win, because Napoli's a very tough team. But if we do get that win against Napoli, then that puts us at 50 points. That's 3 points behind Inter with 23 games played. Obviously there'll be more games played by then, but it will be 3 points behind Inter. We obviously have the Inter game coming up. So we would still need Inter to drop points somewhere. We would need to win.
Especially because you guys got a game in hand against us as well. So that helps too.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, obviously I'm not saying you guys are gonna, it's never a guaranteed win against anyone,
No,
especially in the Serie A.
not.
But it also helps too that Juve can use that game in hand to boost their confidence, or even say Napoli as well, just to boost their confidence if they make a push or whatever. Juve are making a push. It's just a confidence, like, okay, you know what? We have a game in hand against, say, a team like Milan, so we can either come back and overpass them or just solidify that position if Milan end up falling behind. It's going to be interesting too, like you said, with the Lazio situation, what the league chooses for them. So we'll see with that coming out soon, hopefully, because the longer it takes, the more people are going to say, oh, why is it taking that long to come out? It should just come out when you get this, what's the word? When the reports come out, they should just make a decision quick, because the longer you wait, the worse it is for sides like Lazio and stuff. But we'll see. And yeah, just it's gonna be interesting, these games this week, especially this match day coming up.
Yeah,
There's a lot of good matchups as well,
a lot.
and
Yeah, a lot
especially
of.
that Roma-Milan one, which it's gonna be a great matchup for top four.
Roma-Milan are definitely going to be favorites for game of the week. Juve-Verona is never going to be easy, especially away from home. I'm just looking. Genoa-Inter could be a sleeper. To be fair, I wouldn't be surprised if Genoa could get an upset. Obviously, Inter are definitely going to be favorites there, but you
Yeah,
never know. Genoa's been playing good. They've been on form, especially with Strootman on the team. He's been really playing extremely well. Coming back home in the Serie A. Fiorentina-Udinese, that's going to be a very close game, I think. Atalanta-Sampdoria, I just think, yeah, Atalanta, it's going to be an Atalanta show.
yeah.
But yeah,
But
it's going to be a very entertaining week for City.
don't be surprised. This Campania derby between Napoli and Benevento is
Yeah,
gonna be a good one.
that's going to be a very good game.
No, especially the way Napoli have been playing as of late, it's gonna be an interesting one to see, and it's gonna be interesting to see what sides show up.
Yeah, I think one thing Napoli do have in their favor though is um they are home. Roma were away when they faced them, so Napoli
Yeah.
are home in the Maradona Stadium. I think that's going to be a
It
big
also helps
helping
to
hand.
It also helps too that we got two key players. Well, say one, two, yeah, two, three key players coming back. Well, two technically, but Koulibaly coming back into form. Him potentially could even be starting with besides Ramani. Is a huge boost. Napoli, you could tell he was missing, and we'll see what side shows up. Hopefully, it's the Napoli side. I love to watch,
Yes,
and
you could.
I love to support.
Yeah, obviously. And now, just wrapping up, I just want to give a quick shout out to the Italian women's soccer team. Dan, I don't know if you know this, but
I
I was
saw,
watching.
I
I
saw,
was
I saw
yeah,
they won 12-0 today.
I was
So very
watching.
good for them.
I was watching the game earlier, and it was just like goal after goal. And it's a game that, like, obviously Italy versus Israel, you would say like, okay, easy game for Italy. Um, I honestly, I can't. You would never see the men's team just score 12 against a team that they should be scoring 12 against, and it just goes to show you the mentality that the women have on that team is incredible. So shout out to the Italian women's soccer
Was it
team for
qualified for anything?
qualification round.
For the World Cup
I,
or the Euros?
I, I'm not. See, it's strange because I personally thought when I was turning on the game it was for the She Believes Cup, but I'm not
No, but
sure.
yeah, no, that was just I
Uh,
think North America.
yeah, that's why. It is. I know it is qualification. It's Group B, and it's
Okay.
match day 7 out of 10. I know that because I've been following it. I just don't know if what it's for exactly. Yeah, the marketing in North America for women's soccer just isn't where it should be. It's not.
Yeah,
I just can't seem to find what it's for. But nonetheless, they're
it's
treating
good to
every
see. Yeah,
game. Yeah, they're treating every game
it's
with
good to see
respect.
Italy playing well.
Yeah, I mean 12-0. That's not easy to do. I
Yeah,
mean,
so any level of competition still.
yeah, it's incredible to see. So a quick shout out to them. Hopefully they make Italy proud, which so far they're doing more than that. But yeah, I think that's everything we have covered today. Obviously, at the time of recording, Atalanta, Madrid are about to start in about like 20 minutes, I want
Yeah,
to say. So,
yeah.
Forza Atalanta for Serie A. Hopefully they make Serie A proud. Obviously, Lazio had an unfavorable, well, a lot of Serie A teams have been disappointing. Juve against Porto, Napoli against Granada, Milan against Red Star, which kind of hit or miss, and
the,
Lazio against Bayern. So, I mean,
the
hopefully
only one
Atalanta
that
can be a
the
limelight.
only one that can celebrate is so far,
Roma.
knock on wood, Roma. Yeah, had a
Yeah.
good week last week.
Yeah, very good week. So, I mean, hopefully the teams bounce back on the second legs of their fixtures, and Atalanta could show the outsiders what City is about, what Atalanta is about, even without Papu, that they could get the results. So hopefully they do well, and I think that's everything. Dan, you have anything to add on?
I'll just say this. Thank you guys for all the support you guys have been giving us over the past say a few weeks as well. Even since the beginning, since we started, make sure you guys follow, share us to all your friends who follow Serie A. And, well, one day we'll have you guys come on, just as like a guest and stuff. Just
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now, we're just busy with school. Right now it's, exam week. So our podcast schedule is out the door. So sorry for the little inconvenience and inconsistency of podcasts 1 week here, a week and a half later here, there. It's just, we're just busy with school, but we're staying up to date with, the matches and stuff. And we're going to try to give you all the context that we can. And, yeah, just thank you guys so much for all the support you've been, giving us.
Yeah, but I definitely do think we've been like, obviously school does get in the way, but I think we've been pretty consistent with the podcast and posts, trying to keep you guys updated about the Serie A and, Champions Europa League. But yeah, like Danny said, if you guys ever want to come on a podcast or just, ask us any questions, feel free to DM us. We don't bite, we promise. You can email us,
Maybe
DM us.
French might buy if you're an Inter fan.
I scared the Inter fans away. But no, I'd be more than happy to have, any fan of Serie A come on the podcast and, share their opinion and views, of this wonderful league and wonderful sport. So, yeah, like I said, don't hesitate, reach out. Obviously, we've had some wonderful guests in the past. We want to kind of build that resume into more wonderful guests and, just put your name out there, obviously. So I think that's everything for this week, guys. Forza Atalanta, and ciao.